have the review of the Harley Davidson Road King. Now this big motorcycle is just built for one thing, and that's cruising. I've just spent the last couple of days on this, and the first day was in the city, the second day out into the open road, and wow, what a difference it was riding those different roads and experiences with traffic. And mainly I feel it's because of the weight. Now it's a big motorcycle, look at this, it's long, big old wheelbase here, so it holds the road very differently than motorcycles I'm used to riding. Also the weight of it, picking it off the kickstand, really noticed that weight too. So, you know, it's a big motorcycle, big engine, 1750cc V-twin, look at that. Big old Milwaukee engine there. It's definitely a real torquey engine. I wouldn't say it's the most powerful in terms of horsepower, but real torquey engine, which actually makes riding on like the freeway and those easy to ride open roads glorious. Now that 1750cc V-twin engine is super torquey. Yesterday I was on the freeway, purring along, just thought, I'll just check if there's another gear. Oh, the revs went down, it was just another smooth cruise. And then I was just like, oh, I'll just see if there's another gear there. I'm already just cruising on the highway. And there was actually another gear to go. Once you're in kind of like 4th, 5th and 6th gear on this bike, it's just effortless. Big, comfortable seat here, low riding position, big screen, bars in a nice comfortable position, your feet are on footboards. The ride is totally different. So, you know, like Angeles Crest, it's a real twisty road, but it's not the most technical in terms of like really tight corners with lots of braking and changing gears and all that kind of thing. It's actually a really beautiful cruising type of road. This bike was just a joy to ride up there. It's not about speed, it's about cruising. And it's a different experience. It's kind of like with driving. It's either driving a car, or you can drive a van, or you can drive an RV or a big truck. This is the RV motorcycle because it's big. It's definitely harder work in the city. I was still splitting lanes on it, but I was definitely, speeds were down compared to what I'd probably split lanes on a different bike, a smaller bike or lighter bike. I had to really be careful with my stopping distances as well, because that extra weight really is just pushing the motorcycle along, so it's a lot of weight to decelerate as well. Found on this bike, deceleration was best done with the gears and also with the rear brake, not so heavily reliant on the front brake. Whereas the bike I have at home, the CBR 600, is predominantly front brake. Also the rear brake is a big old pedal rather than just like a nice little rear brake pedal that I'm kind of used to, so definitely a different experience. Also, what this bike is made for is the passenger. And in most bikes, in fact practically all motorcycles, the passenger gets the raw deal. Not on the Harley Davidson, especially on a bike that's this big, this long. It really is comfortable for the passenger too. For my cameraman on the back, comfortable, he's got plenty of places to kind of like grab onto and also just feel secure, especially down to this. So, you know, covering distances, let's say for example like Route 66, it's a lot of open road. It's not the most interesting, but it's actually really nice clicking by those miles. This bike, made for it. Whereas in the city, I would pick many different bikes over this, because this is just too big and to manoeuvre, especially on a day-to-day basis in the city. But go the other way, where there is no traffic, and this is quite a ride. So I've always wondered what all the fuss was about with Harley Davidsons at the rallies like Sturgis, Daytona, when people have been literally travelling for days and days and thousands of miles in a saddle. Now I get it. Bikes like this, easy. It's called the Road King for a reason, because it really is kind of king of the road. Loads of space here for your luggage. You can get a back top box as well, which is massive. My cameraman had one of those. He just threw all of his backpack with all of his gear in the back of that thing. So really some nice little add-ons. A big screen here. Things that are different for me were definitely the controls. I found like taking my thumb off the throttle to turn right, because the turn signals are on the right and on the left instead of just one control on my thumb. That felt a little strange. And then also to get across to the main beam here, across the horn, it's kind of quite odd as well. Thought the horn was kind of oddly placed. But yeah, a few little differences there with the controls, but you know, as you kind of spend time on a motorcycle, you always get used to that kind of thing. But anyway, in general, the Road King, comfortable for a rider and passenger when you're clicking by long distance. Tough, definitely, in the city, and also in kind of tricky little manoeuvres like U-turns, or when the road's uneven, or you go off road onto the gravel in a parking lot. This is a lot of weight to kind of cope in those situations. But get her rolling, get her above like 5-10 miles an hour, you don't really notice that weight, and that's when you can really cruise. I've really enjoyed my experience here on the big Road King V-twin. Harley Davidson, built for cruising. If you like this, then don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell. But most important, whenever you can, just go for a ride.